Tvach, everybody. Welcome to Maseches Rosh Hashana, Daf 21, Daf Chaf Aleph. Because I'm in America and I'm among people who are not Haredi, I say 21 before Chaf Aleph. Is that a nice courtesy?
Okay. Whatever you say. You're the mortgage here.
I'm courteous of other people. I told one person in shul I met today that he told my father told him that he wasn't able to come. He thanked him that he informed him about the daf, but I told him I stole my father for 2 weeks from his daf, regular daf yomi share. And I told him that I give the best daf yomi, the premier daf yomi share in the world. And it was very funny afterwards. He's like, "Wow, I'm coming to your share." So, he couldn't make it tonight, but he promised me that for every day from the rest of his life, he's gonna attend my daf yomi share. What was his name?
I don't think it exactly came out
John
that
Steinberg.
way.
he basically he wanted to kiss my hands. He kissed one hand. The second hand he wouldn't kiss because of COVID protocol. So one hand he would kiss, but the second hand he wouldn't kiss. Everyone has different COVID protocols. So no, he obviously was not so enthralled by it, but it piqued his interest. I said that I give the premier daf yomi share in the world, but it was a very nice Shabbos I had over here. My father, my parents, my sister came from Woodmere with her 6 kids. So we had a good Shabbos, Dad. It was nice.
Lively, yes.
It was lively. It was a lively conversation at the table. Anything good we talked about?
Well, the Devar Torah from Chaim.
Dvar Torah. My father asked me for a Dvar Torah. I didn't have a Dvar Torah. Can you believe Maggid Shir like myself didn't have a Dvar Torah? I didn't have a Dvar Torah, Dad. Are you disappointed a little in me?
No, because Chaim had
Chaim is my
right.
nephew is about 10 years old.
Yeah, so that wasn't a lot. We got a lot of nachas out of that.
So whose children you like better, my kids or Cheryl's kids?
No, we love everyone equally. Like Bubba used to say, each is a finger.
Yeah, you don't get the honest answers from my father. He's not. He gives the political answers. You'd be a good politician, Dad. You want to be a politician?
No.
Be a good lawyer. He is a good lawyer.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna start here. It's getting late. The hour is late. The top line of Chachal and Aleph, Levi Ikla Bavel, Bechadzar B'Tishrei. Levi came to Bavel on the 11th day of Tishrei, right? The 10th day of Tishrei is Yom Kippur. He came the 11th day. Amar Basim Tavshilo de Bavai B'Yomar Rabba de Marava. He said, how sweet is the dish, the food. They were eating food in Bavel on the Yom Kippur in Marava, which is Eretz Yisrael. He says, and he came from Eretz Yisrael. He said, they're celebrating today. You're celebrating the 11th day of Tishrei, and you're eating. We should know that in Eretz Yisrael, where they're Makadesh the Chodesh, it's really the 10th of Tishrei, and really, you should be fasting now again. Amrilei, Asid, he said, give me testimony, be an aid that today really is the 10th day of Tishrei. Amrilhu, lo shamati based in Mekudash. He says, I can't give a valid testimony because I didn't personally hear from the basin that was Mekudash. So therefore, you don't have to be Machmir and have fast for 2 days. Machmir is Rabbi Yochanan, Kalecha, the Matu Shluchei Nisan, the Matu Shluchei Tishrei. Abdu Yomi. Zera Nisan Atu Tishrei. Rabbi Yochanan announced, he said, a halacha, that any time where the shluchim, based in once they're Makadesh the Chodesh, they send messengers to tell people in Eretz Yisrael, and ultimately in wherever they get in diaspora in Bavel, which is closer to Eretz Yisrael than, let's say, America. If the shluchim Nisan can get there, because Nisan, you have more days to travel, because Tishrei, right? Both Nisan and Tishrei, they wanted to go to tell them what day during Nisan, what day Pesach is. It's also on Tedvav, and Tishrei is for Sukkot, which is also on the 15th day of the month. But during Nisan, they were able to travel all 15 days with the exception of Shabbos. And Tishrei, you couldn't travel on 2 days of Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur. So if they were able to get to a certain place, let's say a place in Eretz Yisrael or a place outside of Eretz Yisrael, they were able to get there in Nisan, but they weren't able to get there in Tishrei. In such a place, they have to, and therefore in Tishrei, they would have to keep 2 days of Sukkot because they weren't sure which day it was. So therefore, also in Nisan, that type of place would have to keep in Nisan. They'd also have to keep 2 days because the people might confuse Nisan with Tishrei. Rabbi Aibel Bar Nagri or B'chia Bar Abba Iklu Lahu As. Right, they came to a certain place. To have a Matu Shulchan Nisan, Matu Shulchan Tishrei. Exactly this type of place where the messengers arrived in Nisan on time, but not in Tishrei. But Abdi Chad Yoma, they were observing one day of Pesach, the first day of Pesach. They didn't protest. We just learned. Rabbi Yochanan said, you have to be machmir and keep 2 days of Pesach also. Show Rabbi Yochanan the Ikbit. Rabbi Yochanan, who made this pronouncement, he got angry. He heard about it. Amalu Lav Amri Lachu Echad Matu Shluchan Nisan Matu Shluchan Tishrei LeAbdi Shayomi Zer Nisan the Tishrei. Apparently, these were Talmidim Rabbi Yochanan. He said, didn't I tell you? I told you the halacha is, or make a gzera, and touch a place, you have to keep 2 days of Pesach also. That's the end of the story. It doesn't say what happened. He got angry at them. What do you think the end of the story was then?
I'm not sure. We keep 2 days today, so.
Well, in America.
And even though we have the calendar now it's not a question of when the Eidim, right?
So why do we keep 2 days? Do you know the answer to this question?
Minagav was saying to be a day.
Which Gemara was that?
Should I say brachas again?
All right. Any Gemara we don't know, we attribute to brachas.
Shabbos or brachas?
Well, you've learned more Masechta since then. You probably recall this is a more recent thing, right? Mm-hmm. It was actually in the last Masechta we learned Masechtas Beisa on Daf Hey. That's where the Gemara talks about it.
Is it minhag saying to be a day?
That's the Gemara says. The reason is that we keep 2 days because minhag saying to be a day. But not in Eretz Yisrael because they never accept that minhag because usually most places in Eretz Yisrael the shluchim got there. Right. But if you live in a place, let's say like Jordan or Egypt, right?
Like the Rambam did.
He lived in Jordan?
He lived in Egypt.
He lived in Egypt, so I don't know what the halacha would be, but it could be that in Egypt, maybe you should celebrate only one day. Shluchim when I got there. I don't know. Okay. Rabbi Ragil, the Haviyasiv B'Tanesa, Trayomi. He was machmir. He lived in Bavel. He was machmir to sit 2 days of fasted for Yom Kippur because he wasn't sure which day it was. Yom Achada, Zimna Chada Ishtacha Chavase. One time it actually happened, right? We said a lot of Gemara said they never had El Ma'uber. Usually it was that El was only 29 days, so therefore you only have to celebrate. You count the 30th day is the first day of Tishrei, and you count Yom Kippur from that day. But Rav was machmir. He said maybe it'll happen that El will be a full month. It'll be 30 days. Therefore, the 11th day of Tishrei also is machmir. Maybe it's Yom Kippur, right? So he would fast for 48 hours. Can you believe this, Dad? 48 hours fasting?
So was it just the fasting aspect, or what about the Yontav aspect? What about the davening and saying slichos, and saying Hashem Hashem and davening for his life, for Gemar Tov?
Yeah, why not? You do this thing. Why can't you do this 2 days? Yeah.
I'm saying.
But tefillah, I don't know if you do tefillah. Yeah, same thing.
Why is it just talking?
You would treat it like a regular 2-day Yom Tov. It's just like every other 2-day Yom Tov in America is 2-day Yom Tov. You would treat Yom Kippur like 2-day Yom Tov, fast 2 days. Right. Imagine fasting for 2 days. You need a lot of kali stone for that, right? How do you prepare for fast, Dad? What do you do?
Right, but then would he be getting the mitzvah? He might not have gotten the mitzvah of eating before Yom Kippur because he wouldn't know which day it was.
That's asking a good question tonight.
And then it's you get
listen to this
it's
question.
Not just a question of fasting because you get the mitzvah of fasting, the double mitzvah. So you fast, but before the fast you eat, and then you get the mitzvah of fasting.
This is a great question. My father's asking now. I'm realizing this is I didn't think about this question before, but this really is a good question. We learned in a number of Gemaras. I think in Maseches Rosh, we also learned that there's a mitzvah to eat on the 9th of Tishrei. So you prepare yourself for the fast, whatever the reason is, but there's a mitzvah on the 9th of Tishrei. So if he's machmir 2 days, right? Mm-hmm. So what are you doing with that mitzvah? It's a mitzvah d'oraisa. So you mevatel mitzvah d'oraisa because of another mitzvah d'oraisa? Right? The answer is that the fasting eating carries a penalty of kares, right? So therefore, machmir kares is more machmir than mitzvah essay. But, listen to this, Dad. If you eat pachos mikazayas, right? If you eat shiurim, a lot of people fast but eat shiurim. You eat once every 2 minutes, or once every 4 minutes, or 9 minutes. Then it only becomes there's no kares anymore. Maybe it's Chatzi Shir. Chatzi Shir is only Doraisa. It's not a punishment of Karis. So therefore, maybe what he should have done on he obviously ate before the 2 days he ate. What
Right.
about but during the first day of Yom Kippur he should have done Pakos Mikashir, right?
Right.
In order to Mekayim the mitzvah.
But he doesn't know what the first day is.
No, meaning he celebrated the 10th day of Tishrei and the 11th day of Tishrei, because the 11th day of Tishrei might have been the 10th day of Tishrei. So 9th day of Tishrei is going to eat. It's before a 48-hour fast. He's going to be eating.
Of course.
But the question is, if the second day of Yom Kippur is really the 10th day of Tishrei,
Correct.
so then he has to eat on the first day he celebrates his Yom Kippur, which is Yud Tishrei.
Right.
Because Yud Al Tishrei might be Yud Tishrei. So he has to eat, because like you said, he has to be kind of the mitzvah.
So he might be eating on
So
a fast.
he's on a fast, but it could come out if he eats Pachos Mikos Shir, he eats half of a shir, so then he's Mekayim the Mrs. essay, and therefore the Mrs. essay. Yeah.
But no, he's not, because you'd have to eat a kazayas to do it, and he doesn't. He's not doing that. He's eating less. So he's never eating the shear.
Right, but Chatzi Shir we paskin is doraisa. It's Isser doraisa, but there's no kares. There's no penalty of kares.
No, but I'm saying to get the mitzvah, how much does he have to eat? He still has to eat a certain minimum requirement. If he's not,
There's no shear for the mitzvah. It's just you have to eat. It doesn't say a shear. There's
so
no
he would
shear
still get
for the
satiated, but it would have to take over a course of several hours.
It doesn't say you have to be satiated. It's a mitzvah to eat. So if he eats even a little bit, he eats less than a shear, he's Mekayim the mitzvah of achila, and he's only violating a mitzvah's essay. And I guess essay, what my ulme high essay, my high essay, right? It's better to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, Chiddush. This is Chiddush number 2 in the Brisker Chidushim. You know, we're going to publish a sefer of my learning with my father. I'm telling you, with Shmuel, it's not like this, you know? With Shmuel, we joke around more, but he doesn't ask the questions my father does. My father comes out, he asks good questions, and we come up with big Chidushim, you know?
But we like Shmuel.
We like Shmuel also, but I'm saying the learning, I'm telling you, it's another level with you, Dad. You ask sharp questions. You're good. Your Rebbe told you to ask sharp questions when you used to learn in yeshiva? Rabbi Cohen?
Rabbi Cohen.
He liked to tell you? He praised you? Okay. So the Gemara says, Rava fasted 2 days. One day it actually came out, even though El was not known over, 1 year it came out, that they made El 30 days, and he was right. Rav Nachman Yosef b'Tanista Kula Yom Kippur. He sat in the Tainis the whole Yom Kippur. Orsa Asa Hu Gavra. A certain person came from Eretz Yisrael. Amalei Lamakar Yom Rab Ma'arav. He told him, you know, this year Elam was Ma'ober, and tomorrow they're fasting in Eretz Yisrael. Amalei Mehechaat. Where are you coming from? Amalei Mi Dimharia, a place called Dimharia in Eretz Yisrael. Amalei Dam Teheach Riso. He said there's an acronym for blood should be the end. He was referring to himself because he has to fast an extra 24 hours. Karyoleh. Kalim Hayurot Feinu, Kalim Hayurot Feinu, meaning the lightweight birds came and they chased us away, meaning he came very quickly before he had a chance to eat, and he made him fast for 48 hours straight. Shalcher of Huna Barav and the Rava, Karchaz the Mashka Tufas Teves as Shesra Benisan. When you see the solar season of Teves, the winter season, going into the 16th of Nisan, it protracts into the 16th of Nisan. You should make that year an Uber year. You should make an extra Adar. Shmor Aviv shel tkufa sheyeh b'chodesh Nisan. It says in the Torah that you should watch the Chodesh Aviv. Chodesh Aviv is the month of Aviv, spring, of the ripening of the fruits, which is Nisan. You have to make sure that it actually is a time when fruits ripen. It can't be part of the winter month. So most of the month has to be. So if you see that the 16th of the month, half of the month is already going to be part of the winter. The first 15 days are going to be part of the winter. You have to make sure that year is an Uber year. You have to make sure to add an extra Adar, so it shouldn't be the Nisan shouldn't be half of the winter. Amar Lahu Rav Nachman Ahanu Nechusa Yama. He said to the people that travel on the sea, they don't come to the land for Pesach. Asun delo yaditu b'kivya diarcha. You don't know exactly when Nisan was called upon, when it was declared. Ki chazisu sira demashlim liyoma. When you see that the moon sets exactly at sunrise. Biru chamisa. You should get rid of your chametz. Emas mashlim b'chamesa. So the Gemara asks, when does the moon exactly go away from the sky at sunrise? B'chamesar, on the 15th day. If it's on the 15th, how could you tell him to do it when the moon sun sets at sunrise? You're supposed to get rid of the chametz the day earlier, the 14th. They're on the sea, so they have a different vista. They're able to see more clear, and even on the 14th, they're able to see that the moon sets at sunrise.
What about if it's cloudy?
Good question. I don't know. Jump in the river. I don't know. Jump in the water.
Yeah, they're in the ocean.
You're eating chametz. Your life is over. Just jump in the water. All right. The Mishnah, Chaval on Biz, Al Shnei Chadashim Mechal Shabbos, on 2 months from Mechal Shabbos. We said before, we're going to see in the Gemara, you can Mechal Shabbos to report the new moon to Beis Din. Al Nisan Al Tishrei, Shehen Shluchin Yotzin. And those months are important because those are when Pesach and Sukkot fall out. Yotzin L'Surya, Vehen Mesachnin Es HaMoados. They go from Surya and they actually fix that the Yom Tov should be on the right time. Based on English Kayim, Mechal and Afal Kulan Mipnei Tekon as a Kohen. Based on English around, he's the Mechal Shabbos even for every month, so that they should have the right day of the month in order to be Rosh Chodesh. You bring a special Kohen Rosh Chodesh. Whereas Al Shnei Chadashim V'Sulo, only 2 months, Nisan and Tishrei. Ruminu Al V'Yov Chadashim Shluchin Yotzim. We had an earlier Mishnah that says on 6 months of the year, Shluchin go out. Amar Abai Hachem Al Kulon Shluchin Yotzim Be'erev. The other, right, 6 of them, so 2 of them were Nisan and Tishrei. The other 4, so on the other 4, the Shluchin go out Be'erev, meaning once you know that you're going to Kaddish the Chodesh, either everyone sees the moon, it's the 29th day, the 30th day everyone sees the moon, or the 30th day has passed, and now it's the 31st day, so they're going to have to declare the new moon on the 31st day. So they go out at night already. You're not supposed to Kaddish the Chodesh at night, you're Kaddish the Chodesh during the day, but in Be'erev, you're allowed to go out, the Shluchim are allowed to go out early. At least on Tishrei, Yishim will be based in Mekudesh. Nisan and Tishrei, they have to wait, even though you knew it was a given fact that it's going to be Rosh Chodesh. Still, you have to hear it from Beis Din because it's so important because of the Moados. Tanya Nami Hati Al Kon Yosim Be'erev Al Nisan Al Tishrei Yishim will be based in Mekudesh. Like I said before, Nisan and Tishrei, you have to actually hear it from Beis Din. You have to wait till the day they say in order to go out. How do you know you're Mechal Shabbos in order to Masak in the Moados? These are the Moadim Hashem, right, that were established based on Kiddush HaChodesh. Moadam is their time, their appointed times. We know from other times, like Karam Pesach, Moed means it has to be at the appointed time, even if you're Mechal Shabbos. You might think just like you're Mechal Shabbos in order to Kaddish the Chodesh, Mechal Shabbos also, when the Shluchim go out, they should be able to Mechal Shabbos in order to reach as many places as they can reach by the Tedvav Nisan or Tedvav Tishrei. On calling out, announcing, declaring Rosh Chodesh at Mechal, Mechal al Kiyum, when you're Mechal on the Kiyum of the Moados, in terms of when they are celebrated. Originally, they would Mechal on all the months because, like the Mishnah says, in order to make sure the Rosh Chodesh Korban was born on the right day. Mishkar Beis Hamikdash. Once the Beis Hamikdash is destroyed, is there a Korban that we have to be so worried about? He's Masakin and only Mechal for Nisan and Tishrei Avad because of the Moados. Mishnah Ben Shenira Ba'al Ben Shlonira Ba'al Mechal Navas Shabbos. Tanakama holds, even if whether you saw the moon clearly at night, meaning
that's the question we were asking.
There's a cloud-free sky, yeah. Or if it's not a cloud-free sky, Mechal Navas Shabbos, meaning even though it's cloudy, but someone saw it, you're Mechal Shabbos. The Chiddush of the Tanakama is even though it appears to everybody, this is what we're going to see. Rabbi Yossi Omer, if it's clear to everybody, meaning the sky is clear and the new moon is visible to everybody, you're not Mechal Shabbos to travel on Shabbos and Kaddish the Chodesh, because you could assume people that are closer to Beis Din are going to come to Beis Din and not going to really the Isser most people violate is Tchumen, to go far away. or have to carry something while you're traveling to Basin. Uh, there was an actual occurrence where it was clear that it was Rosh Chodesh. The moon was out on the 30th night, so they're Makadesh that month as that month on the 30th day, which would make the previous month 29 days. 40 pairs of Eidim passed by Lud, which was Rabbi Akiva was, and he held them up. He detained them there. He said, you can't go further to Yerushalayim because people in Makadesh, he held like Rabbi Yossi, and near Ba'alel, you're not Machal Shabbos. Shalach Rabbi Gamliel, he says if you delay people from coming, the general powers from coming, so then even in a case where it's not clear to everybody, it's not near Ba'alel, it's not clear to everybody that it's Rosh Chodesh, they're not going to come because then they're not going to be able to differentiate and tell, they're going to think, just like we're not Machal when it's visible, we're not Machal even when it's not visible to everybody. Whereas in my mashma, the high all the lishna the miglihu, alil is a word that means it's clear to everybody. How do you know that's what it means? Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Kra, Imros Hashem Amaros Taharos Kesef Sarov Ba'alil Eretz Mizukak Shivasayim. The words of Hashem are pure. They're like silver, which is what's sarov? It's burnt silver. Ba'alil makes it clear. Eretz Mizukak Shivasayim. It's made clear 7 times over. Rav Shmuel Charamar Nun Shari Bina Nivru Ba'olam. There's machlokes in Rav Shmuel. One says there were 50 gates of understanding that were created in the world. But Kul Nisan Moshe Chaser Achas. He was given 49 of them. Moshe Rabbeinu Shnemar of Techsrael Ma'at Melokim. Pasuk says that he made Moshe a little bit less knowledge than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bikish Koheles Limso Divrei Chayfetz. There's a pasuk is by Koheles, who is Shlomo. He tried to find Divrei Chayfetz, something he wanted to know. We're going to have a machlokes what this means. Bigesh Koheles, the first opinion says, Bigesh Koheles lios k'Moshe. He wanted to be like Moshe, to have 49 Shari Bina. Yasa Baskal Ba'amrlo, because of Yosher Divrei Emes. He says, the psukim tell the truth, and the pasuk says, V'lo kam navi od b'Yisrael k'Moshe. No Navi is going to be like Moshe. So only Moshe can get to 49. You can't get to 49. The other one, Nevi'im lo kam, but Malachim come. Really, that the pasuk's only referring to Nevi'im. So Moshe was the greatest Navi, but a king could get 49 Shari Bina, and he did get 49 Shari Bina. Lamani Mekayim Bikesh Koheles Simso Divrei Chayfetz. So what's the explanation of the pasuk that Koheles Shlomo wanted to find some certain type of knowledge? But was not allowed to. He wanted to make a court case, to rule in a court case just based on his own intuition, without without any warning and without any witnesses. Because of Yosher Divrei Emes al Pishnai Eidim, the Torah speaks the truth, and it says al Pishnai Eidim. It says you only accept Eid, there's only testimony with 2 witnesses.
Yakum Davar.
Where are you getting that from? You saw that in the article?
I remember learning it.
What parsha is that in?
I remember Al Pishnai Eidim. I think that's in Gittin. We learn Al Pishnai Eidim, right? Because Gittin talks about when it comes to kashrus, we rely on Eid Echad and then Bisur. Typically, it's 2 witnesses. You can't put someone to death unless it's 2 people, right?
What about for monetary matters? How many witnesses do you need?
That's a good question. What is the answer?
2. And what about Gittin and Kiddushin?
Gittin is 2.
Right? How do you know that?
Because they call up 2 rabbis under the chuppah.
If you're lambda, davar.
It says yakum davar, so it's general.
Yakum davar, and then it says ervas davar. When it comes to Kiddushin and Gittin, the Torah Davar is getting Kiddushin, says ervas davar. It's going to learn davar. Right. Just like by monetary matters, you also need 2 witnesses by getting Kiddushin.
Or 3, because the Torah says
there's actually a new minhag in Klal Yisrael that some kehilos are starting to have 3 witnesses. It's more in style. It's trending now. You know that? You heard about this? It's trending.
Trending in what?
It's trending in Judaism. Some communities in Lakewood, I think, that it's trending to have 3 witnesses. Just to make sure. And some people try to have four, just in case the third one dies in the middle.
5 would be safe.
5 is better. That's my father's no one.
But the Torah says 2 is enough.
Listen, what happens if you have 2 Eidim and they both die, and then the third Eid comes and dies also? And they're like Kedushin. What do you do? You're not married?
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's a problem. Mamzerim and Klal Yisrael.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. What do you have to say, Dan?
Good night.
You want to add something? Good night. Be well. Bye.